corroded military dog tag slid from the dissected Titan's forearm and clattered onto the steel table. The room went still. Her gloved hand picked it up, thumb brushing away corrosion. A serial number just visible. 744C.
Human bones. Absurd. You are seeing what you want to see, Mizuki. Mizuki.
This was a soldier. The suture marks are proof. This tissue was surgically repaired.
A coincidence. You've spent too many nights here. Your mind is breaking under fatigue.
Titans don't scar like this. Old bone fractures, healed cleanly. Only a human surgeon does this.
Enough. I'll report this misuse of core resources to Commander Saito. Your project is over.
Kageyama turned and left, his footsteps fading. Mizuki remained frozen, the dog tag still clutched in her grip.
They can't bury this. Not when the numbers match missing soldiers. I am too close.
She slipped the corroded tag into her coat. Funding was revoked, but the truth was just beginning to surface. Commander Saito's office was dark, heavy with the scent of leather and old orders. Mizuki stood at attention.
Your theories are poison to morale. I am ordering you to stop this research now, Doctor. If you persist, I'll have you expelled from the Corps. There will be no second warning.
She saluted rigidly and walked out, the dog tag pressing into her palm through the coat. In the shadowed corridor, a young scout stepped from an alcove. His name was Ren.
I saw what happened. You are not crazy. I've noticed things that don't fit.
Why would a scout believe a disgraced anatomist? Your commanders think I am delusional.
Because corpses vanish from the battlefield. I've carried body bags that were suspiciously weightless.
He led her through a labyrinth of forgotten passages to an old storage building, perfect for a hidden lab.
Here, fresh from a Titan kill yesterday. No one will know it's missing.
The hidden lab was silent, save for the drips of preservative and the scratch of her scalpel across the cutting board.
Every sample reinforces the pattern. I just need one piece that the Corps can't dismiss.
Under the magnifier, a clean seam puckered the Titan's tissue. A surgical incision, long healed.
This suture pattern matches military protocol for battlefield thoracotomy. Only a field surgeon does this.
She retrieved the stolen records binder and cross-referenced the first dog tag, 744C. Corporal Duval, reported killed in action, no grave.
3 tags now. Every one with no body returned. The Corps isn't just incompetent, they're complicit.
I brought another. This Titan had a scar on its left forearm. Looked like an old incision.
That's from surgical plate removal. Healed cleanly, just like the others. This was a person.
She laid 3 corroded tags in a row. Duval, Marin, and a third whose name was partly eaten away.
We have enough to make a real case, but the moment we show this, they'll destroy it all.
She needed to know how many graves were empty. That night, she lit a candle in the Corps records vault, page after page of dead soldiers, each one marked with a field burial location, but cross-checking the lists showed the truth. The bodies were never delivered.
Not a single one reached the cemetery. The medics logged the transfers, but the destination is always blacked out.
The sound of a key in the lock made her breath freeze. She shoved the records binder under her coat as the door swung open.
Dr. Mizuki. The records room at this hour? What exactly are you hoping to find?
Reviewing field mortality rates. Surely that's not prohibited, Professor.
Your research was shut down. Any further data collection will be considered insubordination.
Then you'll have nothing to report. I was just leaving.
He watched her pass, his eyes narrow. As she walked out, she felt his suspicion settle on her like cold water.
He knows something's wrong. I need to move faster.
I found the transfer route. There's a secret facility outside the walls, disguised as a supply depot.
Tonight, I need to see what they're doing with the bodies.
They slipped through the perimeter fence under a moonless sky, the processing center looming like a black fortress ahead. Guards patrolled in slow circles, rifles glinting. Ren guided her through a ventilation shaft that opened into the main processing floor.
Vats. Dozens of them. What liquid needs this kind of containment?
She raised her hidden camera and snapped photos of the vats, the labels, the drain grates stained dark.
Look, a logbook. Corpse intake, Kia designations, chemical bath numbers. It's a processing ledger.
Mizuki photographed the pages, date stamps matching battles, where soldiers went missing. The evidence was damning. A guard's bootsteps echoed near. They fled through the shaft, climbing into the cold night, the camera heavy with proof.
We have photos and a ledger, but not the method. This only proves they're doing something. We need more.
A nurse in the infirmary told me something. Soldiers reported Kia were still alive when they were loaded into the death wagons.
Alive. They're collecting them before they die. This is worse than grave robbery.
She pointed me to a medic who kept unofficial transfer records. I can get them tonight.
In a dark alley, a nervous hand pressed a stained logbook into Ren's palm. Back in the lab, Mizuki opened the log. Names, numbers, dates, all matching her list. She placed the log beside her own records and began checking off each name.
Duval, 744C, transferred to Facility Beta, marked processed. He was turned into a Titan, 12 matches. 12 soldiers I've dissected were human beings stolen from the morgue. They're not just disposing of corpses, they're manufacturing Titans from our own people.
This is the fuel that keeps the war burning. The core is feeding on itself.
Kageyama's patience ran dry. He followed the scent of formalin to the abandoned storage building.
Open this door, Doctor. I want to see what you are hiding.
Just old equipment. Nothing that would interest the department.
Then, you won't mind if I take a look myself.
A sudden crash echoed from behind the building. Ren's distraction. Kageyama spun, and Mizuki slammed the door.
Pack the specimens. The log, the tags, anything that can trace back to us.
They moved like shadows, carrying boxes down stone steps into the old cellar beneath the foundation. The new lab was bare but deep. Mizuki sealed the hidden door and lit a single lantern. An hour later, Kageyama returned with soldiers and smashed through the empty lab, finding only broken jars.
He knows it was me. Next time he won't knock.
Days later, Ren arrived at the hidden lab, carrying a sealed metal container, his face drained of color.
I found it outside the processing center. It's not dead. It's still changing.
She unsealed the lid. Inside, a grotesque form, human muscle weaving into raw Titan flesh, still twitching.
This is the missing stage. They're injecting something that triggers the conversion.
She worked without sleep, documenting the cellular changes, the residual chemical signature in the tissue.
The transformation isn't instant. They're alive when it begins. They can feel themselves becoming monsters.
That's the design. The war can't end if the Titans never run out. They're recycling a spinosh naturally.
The truth hit her like a physical blow. The kingdom fed on its own soldiers to sustain the terror. With shaking hands, she completed the anatomical atlas, a compilation of every comparison, every sketch, every proof.
This is the weapon. Now I need a way to fire it. I am going to present my findings to the Core Scientific Tribunal. It's the only forum with enough authority.
They'll arrest you before you finish speaking. Saito controls that room.
I know it's a trap, but I can't just bury this. I'll plant copies first.
They worked through the night, copying every diagram and page of the anatomical atlas onto thin, concealable sheets.
We disguise them as routine medical bulletins. Every regimental surgeon gets one.
Dawn approached. 30 copies, each sealed with a false medical stamp. Ren prepared to deliver them.
I know a courier who won't ask questions. These will reach the frontline medics by tomorrow.
He slipped the last packet into his satchel, the weight of the truth pressing against his ribs.
If I don't come back from the tribunal, at least the surgeons will know. The truth can't be unread.
As Ren vanished into the pre-dawn mist, Mizuki turned to the mirror, straightened her coat, and prepared to walk into the lion's mouth. The grand tribunal chamber was packed with officers and scientists. Mizuki walked to the center, the atlas under her arm like a shield.
Dr. Mizuki, you requested this session. Make your case quickly.
I present evidence that the Titans we fight were once our own soldiers. Here is the proof.
She laid 3 corroded dog tags on the table, then projected the matching soldier records.
Corporal Duval, Sergeant Marin, Private Callan all reported killed in action, all bodies vanished, and all dissected from Titans.
This is impossible. You fabricated these records.
The processing center outside the walls holds dozens of vats. I have photographic evidence of the conversion process mid-stage.
A low murmur of horror swept through the chamber. Saito's face went pale.
Enough. This presentation is seditious and fabricated. Guards, arrest her.
Captain Voss seized her arms, but Mizuki did not resist. She had said enough. Saito pointed at the atlas and the dog tags on the table. Confiscate everything. Burn the samples.
It's too late. Every regimental surgeon has a copy of that atlas by now.
Saito's face drained to ash. The murmur in the chamber cut off as if a blade had fallen.
You can destroy these samples, but you can't unread the truth.
Captain Voss tightened his grip and pulled her toward the door. She did not fight.
She's bluffing. There's no way she managed that.
But the damage was done. The faces of the scientific officers told Saito everything. They believed her. The guards dragged Mizuki into the corridor, her feet scraping against stone.
The atlas is already in their hands. They can't silence that.
Behind her, guards fed the atlas pages to a fire. But the flames couldn't reach 30 field hospitals. The heavy cell door clanged shut, drowning her in darkness and the scent of moldy straw.
They think this is the end, but the real trial is happening in field hospitals.
Days later, a janitor's gray cap appeared at the cell door. Ren peered through the bars.
The surgeons have your atlas. They're comparing it to their own battlefield notes.
Already? Give me more. I need to know if they believe it.
One surgeon gave me this. He said you were right.
Ren pushed a crumpled scrap of paper through the bars. Mizuki unfolded it with trembling fingers. I examined Private Tanaka. The markers match your atlas. You were right.
One surgeon. If one sees it, others will follow. They can't stop this now.
For the first time since the tribunal, the lines around her mouth softened into a faint, almost defiant smile. In a field hospital tent, a surgeon held Mizuki's atlas over the body of a fallen soldier. The burn pattern on the lung matched exactly the diagram on page 12.
Ren, what are you hearing from the front?
It's spreading. Surgeons are questioning everybody. One confronted his commander today.
In another tent, a surgeon thrust the atlas at his commander, demanding an explanation. The commander shouted, tore the atlas, and put the surgeon under arrest, but the damage was done.
Word of the arrest is moving faster than orders can suppress. The soldiers are starting to whisper.
The conspiracy can't control the medics. They're the ones who see the bodies first. Every surgeon who believes is another crack in the wall. They can't arrest them all.
The whispers grew louder, moving through the ranks like a slow-burning fire. Commander Saito summoned his loyal officers and signed the order. Every unauthorized medical document to be seized.
Search every field hospital. Any copy of that atlas is to be burned immediately.
Troops stormed a medical tent, snatching a surgical atlas from a table strewn with bandages. But in a dark hallway, a surgeon slipped a folded copy under his coat. The crackdown only proved the truth was dangerous, and the medics knew it. On a foggy field, a soldier stood over a dead Titan, sword lowered. He stared at the scar on its arm. One of the real ones has that scar too. It was human. Rumors spread faster than orders. Every soldier now looked at the enemy and wondered if it was once a comrade. Saito received reports that the atlas had been seen in a dozen regiments. His officers could not contain it. The crackdown had backfired. The truth was now irrefutable, and Saito's authority was crumbling. In her cold cell, Mizuki pressed her ear to the iron door. Voices drifted from the guard post. She could just make out their words. The anatomist who says Titans are our dead. The word had infected even this prison.
Even here, the truth is creeping through the cracks. They locked me up, but they cannot kill an idea.
Mizuki, even the prison medics are talking. Your atlas has reached every corner.
Even here? Then it's working. They can't contain it.
Ren slipped away before the patrol returned. Mizuki opened her diary again, the words a quiet victory.
The conspiracy's own people are reading the truth. There's no turning back now.
The guards outside continued their low discussion, unaware that the prisoner they guarded had already won.
My work is done. Whatever happens to me, the truth will outlive this cell.
A high-ranking general, known for his skepticism, received one of the Atlas copies smuggled through the medical corps. He read the Atlas alone in his study. Page after page, his disbelief eroded into grim certainty. He summoned the field surgeons who had seen the bodies, questioning each in hushed, private sessions. Their accounts matched the Atlas with unsettling precision. The conspiracy was not a delusion, it was doctrine. He sent for Commander Saito. When Saito entered, the general's face was stone.
General, I trust this is urgent? The situation at the front requires my attention.
The general slid the Atlas across the desk. Saito froze, the blood draining from his face. The general's question was a cold blade. Explain this. Saito stumbled backward, his practiced justifications falling apart against the weight of irrefutable evidence. By morning, Saito's resignation was official. His office was being cleared, his career in ashes. The general issued no public statement, but quietly mandated new burial protocols. Every soldier's body to be inspected by a surgeon before burial. A copy of the Atlas reached the editor of the Corps Medical Journal. He read it in stunned silence. Without asking permission, he prepared the plates for the next edition, the Atlas to be its anonymous centerfold. Ren appeared at the cell door, breathless. His words came fast through the iron grate.
Mizuki, the Corps Medical Journal is publishing your Atlas. It's going to be required reading.
Formally, the Corps will see my name on it.
Anonymously. He's protecting you, but everyone will know whose work it is.
It doesn't matter if my name is on it. The truth is what matters.
The journal went to print under the watchful eye of the general, who said nothing but ensured the presses were not stopped.
Now every surgeon will carry the proof. The war will have to look at itself.
1 year later, the anatomical atlas was no longer contraband. It was required reading for every field medic. Pocket-sized copies were issued to soldiers, the diagrams dog-eared and coffee-stained. On the misty field, a soldier raised his blade, but froze. A scar was visible through the Titan's torn skin. It was surgical, clean, deliberate. His mind raced through the Atlas pages. Another soldier knelt beside a fallen Titan. A rusted chain glinted under its jaw. He pulled the dog tag free and read the number. His hand began to tremble. He knew that number. It was his best friend, reported killed in action 6 months ago. He dropped his sword and fell to his knees, the weight of the truth crushing him. Around him, the battle paused. Other soldiers stared, their own doubts written on their faces.
They see it now. Every battle will be a mirror.
He stayed on his knees, the dog tag pressed to his chest, sobs tearing out of him. He whispered the name aloud, a choking sound that carried across the frozen line. Norris. He said it once, then again, as if the name could bring the dead back. His squad mates turned, their blades slowly falling, their faces emptying. One looked at the scar on his own arm, a surgery scar, just like the Titan's. A sergeant shouted for them to hold the line, but his command broke in the middle. No one moved. The Titan lay still, a grotesque mirror of every soldier watching. The young soldier finally staggered to his feet, leaving his sword in the mud. He stared at the Titan's ruined face, seeing a boy who had shared his rations. The battle could not be fought the same way again. The truth had bitten deep. Sato's cell was smaller than he remembered, the stone walls pressing in like a verdict. A visitor's permit slipped through the bars. Professor Kageyama, now dressed in cheap civilian clothes.
She was right, Saito. I checked her numbers myself. Every Titan she dissected matched a missing soldier. We tried to bury the proof, but she spread it wider than we could reach. The medics all know.
She destroyed us, and we handed her the chance. I should have silenced her the first day. It's too late. The truth is out, and it will outlive us all.
That same week, the Corps Medical Journal published the Anatomical Atlas as its anonymous centerfold, dedicated to the truth. Copies flooded the barracks. Every field surgeon now carried her diagrams. The forbidden knowledge made doctrine. Kageyama left the prison alone, a ghost of the man who had mocked her. His career was dust, his name a warning. Saito remained in chains, his authority shattered, the architect of a lie that now devoured its own. A grimy hand passed the journal through the cell bars. The cover was crisp, the ink still sharp.
It's real. My atlas printed and bound, just like any other medical text.
She opened it to the centerfold. Her own drawings stared back, now framed by the official Corps seal. Sunlight fell through the high window, illuminating the diagram of the human Titan superimposition.
They tried to burn this. Now it's doctrine. Every medic who opens this will see what I saw. The war can't unlearn it.
She closed the journal and held it to her chest. The weight of it, a quiet victory.
I may never leave this cell, but the truth already has. That's enough. That was always enough.
She sat back against the cold stone, the journal resting in her lap, and for the first time in years, she felt no need to fight. At the city gate, soldiers in columns marched out for another expedition. One young recruit, among the others, wore a new uniform, and in his pocket a small black booklet. The atlas, folded and dog-eared, standard issue now. He touched it unconsciously as he walked. From her high cell window, Mizuki watched the column file past. The dust rose around their boots.
They carry it now. The truth walks out with them.
A faint smile touched her lips. The first unforced smile in years. The soldiers' faces were set, but not with blind obedience. They carried the knowledge of what they might face. She turned from the window and sat on the bench, the journal beside her. The cell door was ajar, a sliver, a blade of light cutting through the gloom. Not opened, just not fully closed. She did not move to push it. The light was enough. The truth would do the rest. She closed her eyes, and the sounds of the marching soldiers faded into the distance. The war continued, but they no longer fought blind.